There is only cooperation in nature. Man sees himself as separate from nature, so we see only competition everywhere in human life. So we see weeds as a competition to crop, for fertilizer, for water. This is our natural custard apple plot. Here we can see that the leaves of the custard apple have dried up as its life cycle is completed. While we can see that the weeds below are quite weathered, we will see a different situation as we move forward. From here we moved further and quite a bit of green weeds started to appear. Let us think about why the weeds here are green while the rest of the weeds are dry everywhere. Now look here, if you see here the weeds are quite green while the whole plot is withered, and here the weeds are green. What is the difference because of which this occurred is that there are some neem trees in the custard apple here and there are weeds on the ground. What we generally think that the weeds compete with the crop for water and fertilizers means that the weeds make less water available to the crops and consume themselves more of it. Now there are actually 3 different types of plants growing here. There are neem trees growing on top, there are custard apple trees, and here are weeds on the ground, but the weeds here are green. They take maximum water from the soil, and because of this the crop gets less water. If it is not actually like that, then why is it happening now? As Fukuoka says, if there is open land, the amount of water that evaporates from the land and flies into the air will be more than that. Where there is mulching, a little water will be lost, and if there are weeds, whatever they have, the transpiration from the leaves is less than the evaporation from the soil, so the water actually accumulates there. Now, in all the other plots, the weeds have dried up, but here the weeds are still alive. The 3 make for a pretty good symbiosis, so maybe the weeds are still alive here. Or whatever this neem is photosynthesizing with its leaves and making liquid carbon and releasing it to the soil, and it increases the organic carbon of the soil and increased the humus, so maybe the water holding capacity of the soil here increased, or this neem maintained the microclimate here, so maybe they are still alive here. So nature just cooperates, except in some exceptional circumstances. The rest this proves that there is cooperation in time. Just what we see in our regular agriculture is that these are all chains of nature that are interconnected and dependent on each other. And we have broken them, so our experience in chemical farming seems like the weeds are competing with the crop. But it is all because we have broken that chain. To restore this, we need to let nature do its work by itself with lesser and lesser human interference. What does it mean to farm without any means? When we start to go with the method, these natural states will gradually be regained and states that can be called miracles may appear.